We welcome you to Hartford, Connecticut, as the reigning national champion Connecticut Huskies renew an old school Big East rivalry here at the XL Center as Georgetown visits number 4 UConn. And we welcome you courtside. Alex Faust and Donnie Marshall here with you. UConn, the reigning national champions, they played with a target on their back all year long. They've had a little bit of adversity, but they've managed it well, and they've played in games where they've had to grind it out. They've kept their level.
Yeah, it's interesting. With or without Donovan Clingan, they have all the answers. And Georgetown, they've lost 6 in a row to UConn, but this is Big East basketball. Hartford, a matinee. Setting up for something nice.
Should be fun. It should be a fight if the indication from the two coaches is anything. Let's get you the starting lineups. Sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Georgetown, they now have the leading scorer in the Big East. Jaden Epps just eclipsed that mark coming into the day on a per-game basis. And UConn, still, as you mentioned, without Donovan Clingan. He's expected to be back soon. Cam Spencer leading the way scoring-wise for the Huskies. Ed Cooley's team, well, if they want to accomplish one thing here today, it's what they've done in the last couple games. They have showed up with a pretty good fight, and they certainly pushed Seton Hall around on Tuesday night. Dan Hurley's team, it was funny that the comments he made to us before the game, Donnie, he now knows what Duke, Kansas, and Kentucky feel like. They get every team's best every night. Lamar Simpson, Tim Clarity, Evan Burrows, our officiating crew here in Hartford. Always a great environment, and the Huskies control the opening tip.
Nice building today, inside at least, and it's freezing cold outside. Where else would you rather be if you're in Connecticut?
UConn at 14-2 on the season. Samson Johnson and Alex Carabin. Shooting the rock pretty well the last little while. 64% on the field the last 3 games. Shot clock dwindling down for Cam Spencer. The Rutgers transfer. Spencer off the ball fake. Comes up short with the runner. Rebound the Huskies. Quick kick. Caravan also short. And the Hoyas get the rebound.
Yeah, it's going to be important for Georgetown to kind of cancel out those second shot opportunities. Find a body. Maybe a little bit easier without Clingan on the floor. But this is still a very active UConn team on the glass, especially because you have a guard at 6'5" in Tristan Newton.
Owen Brumball off the heel of the rim. Rebound is contested and controlled by the Hoyas. Good hustle from Supreme Cook, the Fairfield transfer. Brumball way off. There's the cleanup from Cook underneath.
There aren't a lot of offensive rebounds or zero-footers, I call them, that he won't finish with emphasis. I mean, it's really, Supreme Cook knows how to either put you in the basket but finish strong around that hoop.
You know what, last couple games, Georgetown's also been better crashing the offensive glass. Out-rebounded Seton Hall the other night. Spencer. And he knocks one down.
Yeah, it's really what Georgetown's going to have to be careful of when they collapse, because they're not the best defensively on a string in terms of what they do together. They're going to have to understand you got to stay closer to shooters a little bit. You might not be able to crash all 5 on the defensive end.
Brumball attacking the goal. Wild take. Didn't even raise the rim.
This is where UConn's so good because of Tristan Newton's patience.
Not content to run the shot clock here. A very balanced team. This swirls in and out from Johnson.
I think I like most about UConn's offense in transition. They're never in a hurry. You're never going to see a lot of bailout shots. They'll try to get some and-ones, Alex, but they're never going to be in a hurry. Always in control, it feels.
Huskies looking for their 5th straight win. All 4 have been without Donovan Clingan. As this gets popped back out, Huskies have numbers 3-on-1 up court. Caravan knocks down another triple.
That's that modern age fast break. You got 3-on-1 and you have one guy, one wing going to the basket, the other one flaring out to 3. And Alex Caravan has been really, really good the last 3 games, averaging 17 and 5, shooting about 63% from 3, Alex. It's just 10 of 16 now, 11 of 17.
He had to deal with a big cut on his right eye after an inadvertent elbow in the last game. This gets popped away from Brumbaugh, a shot clock violation against the Hoyas.
I think it's one of the aspects of UConn basketball that is lost at times. Obviously, their spacing, they stay out of each other's way. It's harder to recover. And again, in transition, look at the spacing. You got one going to the basket, and Cam Spencer and Alex Caravan flaring out. It's just hard to make a decision on who you guard.
They move the ball so efficiently. They are incredibly unselfish. Season high 23 assists against Xavier on Wednesday. On 31 made field goals. Newton. It deflected, picked up by Castle. Time running out, and an air ball, and good defense from the Hoyas on the other end.
Well, we talked to Ed Cooley before the game. He said, look, he said it a lot on the golf course. No shame in my game when he's putting from 30 yards off the green. Same thing today. I'll muck it up. We're going to make it ugly. You know, we got to stay in this game. And Ed Cooley fans, maybe Providence fans, the last 10, 12 years would understand that sometimes that's how you got to win games and stay in games. Can't be pretty all the time.
Problem is the lack of an inside presence, and there's a good example as Cook tried to go over top to reel in that entry pass, but got deflected away. So we're off and running in Hartford. An old school Big East rivalry. UConn and Georgetown renew hostilities in the Constitution States. Fox College Hoops is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. UConn now 5-time national champions. Run in 2011. Kemba Walker, cardiac Kemba, taking them all the way. Shabazz Napier in 2014, and then what a run in 2023. And we got some UConn royalty in the house. I'm not talking about you, Donnie. Your boy Ray Allen in attendance. You guys got to catch up before the game.
Yeah, we talked before the game. He was excellent on me, but now a basketball coaches his son's team, AAU team, so they're up here for the weekend. Played at Springfield, and he was pontificating about what they ran, what they want. I said, look, man, I got my own notes over here. I got to get ready for a game here. You know, always good seeing our alums come back. Rudy Johnson also in the building. He was in my class, so just a wealth of UConn history and brotherhood. It's beautiful.
And the tradition continues here. A place they've called home for almost a half century, the old Hartford Civic Center. 3 off the mark from Jaden Epps.
That's the one guy who's got to get it going, and he can fill it up. He's got to get into his groove here.
Newton too strong on the other end. Georgetown with the rebound. The Hoyas just 1 for 6 from the field to begin the game. The team that's lost 4 of their first 5 to begin Big East play. They haven't beaten UConn since 2017. Huskies have won 6 straight head-to-head. And the drought continues from the field. Offensive rebound. Cook with a putback.
Yeah, probably got fouled too down there. This is a situation for Georgetown to simplify things. You got to put the ball on the floor, get your head right to the rim, because there's no way Danny Hurley wants to get into his bench past Samson Johnson. And remember, no Donovan Clingan makes him a little bit thinner, but that's why you have to challenge the big guy inside.
Nice vision. Castle, and then the extra pass for Johnson.
I love that UConn has done such a wonderful job against, and Hurley told us before the game, Coach Hurley, we played against zone, man-to-man, full-court press, half-court press. They've seen it all, but they put Castle in the right spot.
There's a foul called against Cook as he goes up for another putback.
Take a look, Alex. This is what I'm talking about. You put a guy who can make a decision right in the middle there at the Big East logo. Now, Supreme Cook has to make a decision, no rotation. Nice soft pass up top to Johnson. But you need a decision maker, and you have to have confidence in your decision making as a player when you're playing against, again, in that high post area against his own.
Well, that's why those assist numbers jump off the page for UConn. They're 11th in the nation in that category. And it's not just one guy who does that. And we know Newton, and he leads the way, but every player on this roster is capable of that. And that's why this team has been so difficult to handle, because they can play against every style of defense.
We always talk about, your coaches tell you, I need shooters, we need facilitators, guys who can break pressure, can go get us a shot. But what you also need is unselfish players. And UConn has continued to do that the last few years, to find guys who just want to win. And it's as simple as that. You want to win a championship? This is how you do it. We have the blueprint.
The Cook splits the pair, 8-5. First touch for Hassan Diarra today. Castle threw it to nobody. He thought that Cam Spencer was going to be there a moment or two before he arrived.
And this is where Georgetown can really take advantage, but they have to do it with their ball movement. Not a team that's going to spread the ball around. They have individual scorers, but it has to be a bang-bang play. You swing the ball, gets out the side of the floor. Now you make a quick decision.
You talk about Epps. They're trying to get him going, but he gets rejected by Diarra. Outlet pass, Castle. Ran into resistance and a wild take. Rebound for the Hoyas. Good numbers back defensively for Georgetown. It's tough for Drew Fielder today. Trying to build his strength up, the freshman from Idaho.
Kid Ed Cooley told us he thinks he's ahead of schedule. He really likes him, so he's going to be a heck of a player.
Well, he'll line up a three, and he'll skip it off the rim.
He's got to learn, though. If we're talking about him over here, you got to make a good play, young man. When we talk about you, you got to make a shot. That's how it works in college basketball.
Montrez Styles with the clutch grab in transition. Foul against the Hoyas. Their first. UConn, they've had to battle against Xavier on Wednesday. Led by as much as 14 in the second half. Late push from Xavier made that more of a contest. Huskies will head to the line here. It just shows the depth of this UConn team. 5 players wound up scoring in double figures. And they really had to clamp down late with the run that Xavier had at the end of the game.
It's a tough building to play in. We have some really, really good ones, obviously. You need that when you're a power school. But the Cintas Center is one of the toughest buildings to play in because they're so knowledgeable. It's cozy in there. It's loud.
And hey, this week in the Big East, never mind national, every ranked team lost to an unranked opponent. And then you look at what happened in the top 5. I mean, UConn, assuming they take care of business here today against Georgetown, you never want to assume anything. I mean, they could wind up the new poll and #1 in the nation.
They could. I think Nebraska's a good team. I don't know if they'll penalize Purdue. I mean, Purdue is still #1 no matter what happened last week. Obviously, UConn could make an argument. Wouldn't surprise me either way, though, if they were 1 or at least 2. I would say UConn.
Trey Styles, fadeaway wouldn't go, and Georgetown just cannot buy a basket early in this game. Foul for the loose ball.
It's interesting because they're getting to their spots. I mean, they're getting to those high percentage areas in the paint, some point blank, but they just. And this is a small ball situation with Alex Caravan, 6'7", being the biggest guy on the floor for UConn. So once you get in that paint, you just have to. You're Georgetown. You got to slow down. Tell guys, look, we're getting where we want to. Take our time. Make a good shot.
Hoyas just 2 for 12 from the field. He's into their set. Hassan Diarra. Spencer, or rather Caravan, gets stripped. And here comes Epps on the run out. Epps high off the window, no. Ran into his own man. Quick transition, Newton up court, one-on-one with Epps, goes up and scores.
Tristan Newton does such a nice job. You can tell veteran guards versus young guys because his priority was to score the ball, protect it, score it. If you get the contact, great. If not, you're going to get a basket. A lot of young guards try to get the contact first, Alex, and forget, oh, by the way, I got to make a shot, and get neither in the end of time.
Right. First touch for Wayne Bristol, senior guard. Started his career at Howard, and a foul here against the Huskies. Alex Caravan whistled for the contact.
Tristan Newton, just the consummate leader for The UConn Huskies finishing strong. Foul or no foul, count it. Huskies up 6 here in Hartford.
Fox College Hoops is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Alex Faust, Donnie Marshall here with you in Hartford. 11-5, low-scoring game. Georgetown's had a couple of looks. Let's go inside the UConn huddle.
Right, like we want to take away the threes and just sit on the right hand. But we're very fortunate right now that we haven't given up more at the rim. And how about a clean defensive rebound?
Yeah, we talked to Hurley before, and Coach Hurley told us that we're not perfect. We got some things we have to clean up, and I think because you don't have a Donovan Clingan in there that can wipe out a lot of your mistakes, guys have to be that much better, and that's what he means. Let's get a clean rebound. Let's keep guarding them from the three-point line. But I think right now their activity defensively has been terrific.
Yeah, and the other side of this, too, like, you know, Georgetown's only allowed 11 points here to this UConn team that's averaging 83 per game coming in. It's kind of been their I don't know, their template to hang around in games just a little bit. They just don't have that push to get them over the top.
Yeah, would this qualify as mucking it up?
Yeah,
you
a little
think
bit.
For Ed Cooley? I mean, this is how you stay in games, but you got to make a couple of bunnies. You know, they're just missing too many easy ones, Georgetown.
And Epps 0 for 5 from the field to begin the day. Here's Cook, the only one who's hit a field goal. He's now 3 for 3 on the floor.
Yeah, I really like the job Supreme Cook has done this season. You know, undersized, big. You come from a mid-major school, and you're thrust into Big East basketball, and really the national level of what he's doing is scary. And there's that guy who's been scary as well. Cam Spencer's one of those players I really believe that just he's so undervalued and underrated by everyone outside of, I would say, this building. I don't think people know enough about him. Maybe in Maryland, where he's from. But so valuable.
Sorry, Donnie, pocket pass got tipped away there. Could have been a good look. Spencer coming in after 1 season at Rutgers.
There you go.
Oh, and 1! How'd he do that?
Well, this is exactly it. The game plan should be from the start now that he's got it going. He's feeling some confidence, but this is Samson Johnson. The spin, the body, look at the strength. Supreme. A little English. Butter on that roll. You don't see. You seem like a brunch guy to me. You don't seem like a breakfast guy.
I'm a big-time brunch guy.
Yeah.
I'll wait online in New York City for brunch. I'll be one of those. Johnson committing the foul there. He got into some foul trouble Wednesday against Xavier. That became a factor down the stretch in that game.
I mean, right now it's Supreme Cook 9, 10, I'm sorry, and UConn 14. And now Supreme Cook is out. That's what, you know, as a player, you know coaches have rotations, but when you're on fire, you want to stay in the game.
Good messages. Somebody else needs to score, please. Diarra, separation. A return pass from Solomon Ball. Skip it to the corner. Spencer puts it on the deck. Here's Caravan.
He's really good in that painted area with the little floaters. I thought earlier Steph Castle had when he put on the floor. He got fouled, but should have just caught it from about the same area and shot that nice little floater. That's veteran versus freshman.
It's downhill. Finally, he gets one to drop.
And he's got a tough matchup. Hassan Diarra is one of the best defenders you'll see, not just in the Big East, but in the country, getting up into guys and making guys uncomfortable.
Diarra attacking, in trouble. Stewart helps bail him out, and a foul is called. Like he was slipping on the baseline there. Wound up getting bumped. Jay Heath the foul. Senior. I think one of 3 players who stayed on the Georgetown roster this offseason. We've seen so many of these big-time overhauls in this league in particular. Butler, we know about St. John's. This Georgetown team has pretty much been stripped down to the studs.
Jay Heath has been consistent his entire career, though. And you need a guy like that if you want at least one to stay. I know they haven't had success the last few years in terms of wins, but we like to see guys stick around, the good ones.
6 to shoot. Newton a fadeaway 3, no. Rebound for Ismail Massoud. That broken hand in the preseason missed some time, but has come back to start for Ed Cooley.
Can really shoot it too, Alex. I just think he's got to slow down a little bit. Very talented offensively, Massoud.
Fielder on the take. This will go the other way.
That's a really nice job by Jalen Stewart. Undersized a little bit. Literally sticking his nose in. Watch the left or the right. Yeah, there were actually 2 of them each way. Good call by the official there, but good defense standing the guy up.
Just hoping that he can add some size in the coming years. Their front court.
Yeah, Fielder. Get some weight.
On the wing, Caravan.
And you just have to know your scouting report. Again, you can't overhelp and sag too deep on number 12 and number 11. You really got to stay a little bit connected to those 2 for UConn.
Caravan continues his hot shooting from 3. Shovel pass, front ball underneath. Couldn't connect with Fielder. This will go back to the Hoyas. Caravan, by the way, 12 for his last 19 from behind the arc.
Man, just take a look. There's so much help. You turn your head, and now, that's just too much space to give a guy like Caravan, especially knowing how hot he's been the last 3 or 4 games.
They're going to allow the late substitution here from Georgetown as Dontrez Styles checks in. UNC transfer. He can ball. He has some pretty good moves. Massoud off the mark. Styles rips away the rebound. They're going to call jump ball. Possession arrow to the Hoyas.
How about Tristan Newton, though? Most guards will take off, expecting their bigs to grab it. He's sticking his nose in. That's really, to me, the difference in this UConn team this year is their guards and the way that they will just fight for those rebounds.
Here's Heath. Isolation with Newton. Wow, attacking the cup. It's Styles. Rolled it off the rim. There's Cook, and he's fouled. He'll head back to the line.
Supreme Cook is a workhorse. And he's not just a second shot player either. We saw him make a nice move for the up and under earlier. And he is just playing like a man amongst boys so far in this game.
I saw him earlier this season. I was doing the Georgetown-Rutgers game at the beginning of the year, and still seemed like he was trying to find his game, but he's certainly showed more confidence over the last little while.
He's 16, 17 games. He's only been below 40% from the field 3 times, Alex. That's just, he understands his game. He knows who he is, where in an age where bigs are shooting 3s, he said, you know what, my money is down low. I'm just going to outwork guys, and that's what he's done so far. 12 points, go along with 6 rebounds.
12 of the 14 for the Hoyas. So far, it's been a one-man show as they try to hang here.
In 9 minutes.
They've been getting some stops on this end, Georgetown. 7 to shoot as Newton floats this one where only Caravan can catch him. Caravan trying to back in against Bristol. Wild take, shot clock violation. That never touched the rim. And we hit the under 8 in what's turning into a bit of a rock fight. 19-14 UConn.
Let's make sure we stay composed and connected. Good job fronting the post. Stay composed. They're going to make a run. We're going to make a run. Stay aggressive, stay confident, but stay connected.
Clear rebuild for Georgetown. They're trying to stay as positive as possible. And the message from Cooley is, hey, compete, and you'll stay in these games.
And I've had conversations like you and I did before the game about guys like Supreme Cook. Ed says, we have a couple of dogs. We got a couple of guys who will fight, and Supreme Cook is one of them. And you can see it right here. Keeps it simple. He's got the body of Adonis. And he's using it out there. Looks like a man among boys. Talked about it. He's efficient, knows who he is, comfortable in his own skin. But that's a hard. You have a conversation with coaches about players who come from mid-majors to that power level. Sometimes that transition is really hard for bigs, especially undersized bigs, because Supreme Cook had his way before he got here. And you know what? To me, because of the system, because of Ed Cooley, the influence there, the staff Ed has with him, he brought from Providence. Right. Supreme Cook is at an advantage no matter where he's playing, as long as he got those guys.
You're right. It's the entire staff and the strength and conditioning staff from Providence that Cooley brought with him. 19-14, just a 5-point game. Here's Cook. He's virtually done it all for the Hoyas to start the game. Rumbaugh didn't have a point in 12 minutes last time out. He'll attack the rim and come up empty.
And they're just missing so many layups.
Nice pass inside, hard foul. Castle gets hit.
He had a little happy feet there before he got hit. Sometimes in transition, the refs are looking up top and not necessarily at the feet. Look at his feet here. Good pass. Pretty clean there, huh? I guess that's why I'm not wearing those stripes. I don't think I could, as much as I wouldn't say fought with the refs, because they actually had the last word with that.
Yeah.
The T and the shape of two hands combined. But I used to get my fair share of whips in. So I don't know if they'd even allow me to try to be an official at this point. So I'm stuck here next to you, Alex. I'm sorry.
There are worse places to be. Castle converts at the line. The Big East Freshman of the Week last week. Curious how, if they're going to continue to feed Epps here, try to get him going.
I think you have to, and then make UConn make a decision, man.
Styles, tough look. Nice shot from the baseline.
Look, Epps can't do it by himself. You know, Supreme Cook's doing his job. Epps has to step in here, obviously, but as the leading scorer, you know he's going to get his shots. But Styles is the next guy. Montrez can really score the ball. He's got to be more consistent, more efficient.
Araban against Epps, trying to turn the corner, ball knocked away. Hoyas have it. Here's Epps. He'll enter it to Cook, who's had his way in the paint. That's where Georgetown's found a majority of their points so far.
Really nice job again. Now, this is where Montrez Styles is really good. A little fade away, creating some space. Shoulders are square. I love it. And then right there, Cook understands. That old Georgetown Alonzo Mourning was the best I've ever seen. Running straight down the middle of the floor and stopping. Just they didn't have that circle underneath then, but right in front of the rim and being big. That is. And I guess you put that uniform on. The spirit of Alonzo Mourning is in you as a big at Georgetown.
Boy, and you just want this rivalry to become even a sliver of what it was back in the day. I mean, you experienced those wars firsthand. This was a nasty rivalry for many years.
Yeah, the series is all square at 36. That, to me, it blew my mind when I read that earlier in the week, that I thought UConn may have had the advantage, but no, Georgetown, 36-36.
Many years, Georgetown dominated. Shoot, juggled by Newton. Gather and put it on the deck. Straight off the bounce. Spencer, a three. Looked like he may have kicked those legs out, but he gets the benefit of the call. Ed Cooley is wondering if he perhaps tried to lay into it.
It used to be a point of emphasis. I don't know how these things go away, because to me it's still about safety of both players, but watch the lower body of Spencer. Kicks that right foot out and gets the call. Last year, that was an offensive foul. I don't understand how these rules just fade away. The emphasis is not there. I think that should still be it should be prominent in terms of shooters, protecting them, one, if you step underneath them, but also the defensive player who's also in the air. It's an unfair advantage there for the defender.
Spencer, a grad student, mentioned transferred him from Rutgers Dan Hurley told us before the game he wanted a guy, to bring in when they lost so much after winning the title last year. They wanted to bring in a guy who hadn't played in the tournament before, still had that hunger. Wasn't resting on his laurels from winning a title or playing in the tournament at a team like Kentucky or something. He fit that bill.
Yeah. You got 3,000 points in your backcourt for UConn between Newton and Spencer. Career points. And take a look. This is, to me, these are the impactful portalers, I call them. And yes, we know about Max Asmus, one of the best scorers in college basketball the last few years. L.J. Cryer doing a great job for Kelvin Sampson at Houston. But Hunter Dickinson, the one that came to everyone's mind. But there was a top 10 list that came out earlier in the season in October, and Cam Spencer wasn't in it. It's fascinating how these lists are put together, but right now, he has been a huge difference for UConn's success to this point.
Leading scorer, Roy Epps, out of control, gets the benefit of a foul call. And again, I keep coming back to what Ed Cooley was telling us, that it feels like this game is being mucked up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, those mental mistakes, again, it's subjective, I guess, for people. Following a three-point shooter, maybe you shouldn't be in the area, but discipline is so huge in games like this for a team like Georgetown on the road. Look, the crowd's not really into it. It feels like a Sunday afternoon in Hartford. It really does. Very subdued. Georgetown right now, this is a game that they can, if they make some bunnies, they get a couple stops, it's a game all of a sudden. Now UConn's, we know how good they are offensively, and they can get it going. They go on runs, but right there.
A backspin on the second from Epps. So he splits the pair, 6-point game. Mr. Newton coming off a double-double against Xavier on Wednesday. Castle now trying to turn the corner against Epps, who is swiping at the ball. Forced a hurried shot. Cook comes down with a rebound. And they'll outlet quickly. Heath at it strict. Spencer with a takeaway. 3-on-1 for the Huskies. A pass that nearly got away from Ball, and he spun his way into the paint, made a mess of the possession, and it's a travel against the Huskies.
And that's tough. Cam Spencer's going to be kicking himself because he thought, it looked like he thought Solo Ball was going to cut towards the basket, and the pass was kind of in no man's land, and Ball couldn't really do much with it.
6 turnovers now for UConn. Team that only averages about 10.5 per game. 5 minutes to play in the first half. Low-scoring game. Epps stripped. And back-to-back turnovers from the Hoyas here. Caravan lines up a 3, and he buries it.
Discipline. You dribbled between 2 guys in a double team, and turnover leads to 3, and now the crowd's into this game. Ed wants to talk about it.
3rd triple for Caravan, who now leads the Huskies with 11.
Yeah, remember, when Caravan got to campus, he had a half-a-year head start because he got to UConn, to the Stores campus, the year before his freshman year, before he was playing, and hung out with the team. He was around it. He understood what the landscape was like, and then was thrust into it his first year. A lot of talk last year about maybe testing those NBA waters. Came back, and I tell you what, at 6'7", 6'8", to be able to stretch a D and knock down threes the way he's doing, I mean, there's a premium you put on shooters, having shooters, but guys of that size. Now look, he's still working on the footwork, laterally trying to guard different positions, but offensively, there's not much that I think, not much more the NBA needs to see. Take a chance on that kid. I'm sorry, UConn fans, don't be upset with me. It's just, it's inevitable.
Up inbound, and Newton commits the foul against Epps. Those fouls starting to pile up for the Huskies. This sends Georgetown into the bonus.
Yeah, right out of a little quick timeout, too. The crowd was into it. You got a turnover at 3, and now you kind of let Georgetown settle back in at the foul line here. It's really fascinating to watch Epps, such a terrific scorer. The rotation or lack of rotation on his jump shots. You can see it on his free throw too. Normally, you know, for really good shooters, good scorers, there's a tight rotation. It's almost a fast rotation on that ball, but if you take a look, it's like a knuckleball, but he seems to be able to, it's consistent though. You know, it's the same shot, the repetition.
30 against Seton Hall on Tuesday, 30 of Georgetown's 70. Third time that he scored 30 or more this year.
Now, make no mistake about it, he is a scorer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the one part that Georgetown's missing is that facilitator. When you get into this situation, Red Cooley, this is what you have to play with.
Free pass, Caravan. And he'll head to the line.
Oh, yeah, the fact that UConn has the success without Klingon is going to give them so much confidence when he comes back. But look at the movement. Right in the middle there, someone's got to make a decision. Two Georgetown players in no man's land. And what made that work was Cam Spencer on that left wing staying stretched out and Caravan rolling to the hoop. Easy.
I saw him taking some shots prior to the game, Klingon. Could be a week away, maybe.
Yeah, well, I know coaches say it, but we love doing it. You look ahead and you got Creighton in front of you with Ryan Kalkbrenner. You're hoping, if you're a UConn fan, that you can get Donnie Klingon back, or Kling Kong, as I said. I can't call you that, man. Not when you're sitting on the bench, man. When you're on the floor, dominant, when you're getting double, I'll call you Kling Kong. Kling Kong.
Yeah, see, well, that's also because it's hard to
It's hard to say.
29-20. And he throws it off the rim. Put back, no, from Cook, and there's another layup missed. But Cook will head to the line when we come back. That chilly Sunday afternoon in Hartford, Connecticut. 9-point lead for the Huskies. 73rd all-time meeting between UConn and Georgetown. And during the first incarnation of the Big East, I mean, these were two of the best. A record 7 Big East tournament titles apiece, but Georgetown owned the head-to-head. They won 27 of the first 36. Last couple decades, UConn has had the upper hand, and the all-time series is tied entering today.
What a nice little piece there. Good job, Zach and the crew. That was good crew, man. That was nice. But I'm sorry. I was just notified that wasn't a little piece.
Okay.
That
took a lot of effort, man. We had 4
make the producer
PAs
happy
on that during the week,
Yes.
okay? Zach Denman, Mitch Reagan, our director. Paul Marmero, our associate director. Jackie Chung, our BA. UConn has won the last 6 head-to-head. It's been this is actually the first time they're meeting in this building in quite some time. 2016, the last time Georgetown came to Hartford. Played the rest of them in stores since UConn rejoined the Big East. By the way, in case you're curious, for the UConn winning 6 in a row head-to-head, the all-time record in the series is Georgetown with an 8-game winning streak.
I think those 6, right, were from the UConn being back in this.
Yes. Yeah, Georgetown has not beaten UConn since the Huskies rejoined the Big East. Huskies by 7. Caravan, does he have another? You bet! Caravan with his 4th tray of the half. 16 points to lead the Huskies.
Communication has to be perfect when you're guarding number 11 and number 12 in white.
Rolls it off the rim. That could have been close to basket interference. Caravan comes away with the board. And the Huskies, with their largest lead, looking for more. It'll be free throws for Kessel.
I remember one of my buddies who's in the building, one of the greatest shooters ever. Look at the feet. Caravan's feet. Ray Allen would tell me if your feet ain't right, nothing's right. But when your feet are, this is what happens. And Alex Caravan has not only worked hard on repetition, how that ball's released, the release point, but getting your footwork together. That is where your work starts. That's where the shots are made before they actually go in the basket. Your feet have to be right. If your feet aren't right, nothing's right.
He's unconscious right now. 14 for his last 21 from deep. And he gets a well-earned seat. Steph Castle at the line. Freshman from Covington, Georgia. Yusef Singare, freshman from Mali, enters the game for the Huskies. Seldom used this year. And he has the task of guarding Supreme Cook, who goes up hard and will earn another trip to the stripe.
And that's what you don't want if you're Dan Hurley. You do not want to have to get deep into your bench. But Supreme Cook, look where he's posting up. I mean, he's got 2 feet in the paint. That's when coaches say, get your work done early, which means defensively, you don't want to. You want to stop with your feet, heels on that low box, and not allow the offensive player to push you back. Get your work done early. If you don't, you send Supreme Cook to the foul line.
Right on cue. The freshman will check out of the game. Caravan comes back in. Already combined the 26th free throw of the game. Georgetown, they're hanging, but it feels like it's a bit by a thread right now.
Well, UConn, Coach Hurley told us before, they've seen everything. They've played every different way, fast, slow, full court, half court. So this team is built, UConn, to withstand a lot of these lows, if you will.
Newton had too much time. There's a rebound for Cook. He's coming close to a double-double in the first half here. 9th rebound.
Just a couple more zero-footers made by Georgetown, and they're in a better spot.
That's way out. Well, he has really struggled today. 1 for 8 from the field, just 5 points for the leading scorer in the Big East.
And I don't feel like there's been a lot of pressure put on Jaden Epps either today. I feel like Coach Hurley's more focused on what they need to do defensively in all 5 spots than just zeroing in on one guy.
And one for Newton. And Epps got caught defensively on the other end.
Oh, when it rains, it pours. It's hard to get yourself up on the defensive end when you're struggling on the offensive end, and Tristan Newton recognized that. A wonderful job. In his last 4 games, Newton is averaging 2 of those games 0 points, and the other 2 he's about 16 and a half. It's interesting how he can find his way and navigate, lead his team, but also lead them to wins no matter if he's scoring the ball or not.
Huskies with their largest lead. (36-23). Heath guarded by Spencer. And Epps in trouble. Epps kept his pivot foot. 3 from Bristol. Book it. And a big basket for the Hoyas. Timeout Georgetown. We get it back to 10 as we close in on the final minute and a half.
Georgetown's taken 5 threes. They're going to need more than that, Alex.
Tomorrow, a special day of college hoops on Fox. First, Ohio State faces Michigan at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Then Villanova takes on 11th ranked Marquette at 2:30. It all tips off tomorrow, Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Fox. Golden Eagles have lost back-to-back games for the first time all season. Nova can regain a share of first place in the conference. Marquette kind of under the radar, a little bit of injury situation there. Sean Jones now out for the season. He's one of their big bench players. ACL. Had to deal with a couple other bumps and bruises.
Well, take a look at this last play. This is Epps working his way out of this double. Got to use your pivot, swing it, can't hold on to it too long. Bristol's been one of those guys most consistent for him, but this Ed Cooley team that last game, took 30 34, 35 threes. This is a game where they've only taken 5, and the way to be in this game, I think they're going to have to shoot at least 20 more to have a chance.
They might be cleaning up some blood off the jersey of Jaden Epps. Not sure where that would have happened earlier, but working on that on the bench.
No blood, no foul. Big East, Georgetown, UConn. You kidding me?
A minute and a half remaining in the first two. Trying to rock fielder to sleep, lost the handle, not sure where he was going. Epps up court. He'll take it all the way himself, and he'll earn some free throws.
That's about the 7th layup they've missed today, Georgetown. So again, doing everything right. So get around that basket. It's almost like the spirit of Donovan Clingan is around the rim, a little tentative. A chance to score with that clock stop. And if you can go into halftime and you're Georgetown shooting 29%, single digits, you're gonna feel probably pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, we mentioned Donovan Clingan. He was working pregame. Wouldn't call that, at full speed, but they think that he has been practicing with the team.
Speak for yourself. That's spoken like a short person. That's full speed for a big guy. You kidding me, Alex? Speak for yourself. I did have a chance to talk to Donovan. He's lost about 10, 12 pounds in this time, so he's really taking care of his body and take some of that weight off. It alleviates some of the stress to those feet.
Oh, another good defensive possession from the Hoyas. And a foul is called. Boy, UConn just, they've had a couple opportunities to break this game open and have not been able to take advantage. Diarra with the foul. That's his third.
Again, it's a weird kind of a feel. There's a lull. There's not a lot of energy coming from UConn's side, even though they're up. And Georgetown is almost playing like they're waiting for UConn to make a big run. This is when you have to attack. This is when you have to say, you know what, we're going to shock the world today. I just don't see that energy level of Georgetown consistently in this first half.
Dan Hurley wants to talk it over as he burns his user to lose it timeout. 51 seconds left in the half. Mentioned it's been a while since Georgetown beat UConn. 6 straight wins for the Huskies. Got to take you back to January of 2017. LJ Peak with 21 points. UConn missed 3 shots and 2 potential game-tying 3-pointers in the final seconds. And the Hoyas trying to recapture a little bit of something in this rivalry. Last meeting last year, Georgetown led most of that game. Huskies went on a late run to win that one.
Well, you remember that conference play last year for UConn wasn't something that they want to remember. You kind of get into conference play and everyone's scouting you. There's more time to scout teams, and you're watching. Not only are you watching your next opponent, but maybe the opponent just after them. So it's a little different animal once you get into league play, conference play. And UConn felt that. So even this season, we've talked about it, Alex, where it's hard to win on the road. I'm not so sure anymore. I think that's how good teams are in the Big East. Is you can look, St. John's almost went in and knocked off Creighton at home, and if there was a foul called late, it would have been, in my opinion, it would have been a different outcome in that game.
Speaking of that, they almost knocked off this UConn team.
Absolutely.
Final minute of the half. Huskies lead by 8. It's kind of a sleepy environment here. UConn unable to pull away. 7 to shoot. Newton puts it on the deck, swings it to the corner. There's Caravan again! Alex Caravan with 19 in the first half. And they'll rise to their feet in Hartford. Shot clock turned off. Epps will try to answer, gets hit, he'll head to the line. Caravan the foul. And Dan Hurley is about to blow his top.
Now, the problem with this is, for Caravan is, wow. You know, the refs are rewarding a bad shot. There's contact. There's definitely contact there, but it was after the release, not on the release.
Could you argue a makeup from the other end?
You could. You could. Is that? I don't think there's such thing as makeup. Are you kidding me?
No. Well, this is helpful for Epps to pad his total, and also just to get Georgetown back to single digits here.
I'd love to see Epps just one time hold his follow through. Just get back to that fundamental, hold your follow through, pose for the picture. Just to get that good feel of that ball release coming out of your hand.
He struggled from the field, but he has 6 of his 8 from the stripe, and the Hoyas are back within 8. Newton, easy inbound quickly to Jalen Stewart. His first touch, Newton, and across the timing line. Wanted a foul, none given. Let's see here. Maybe there. Yeah, there was one call.
Yeah, Wayne Bristol just, you got to almost let the guy run. And you wouldn't know it by the look of Coach Hurley's face there, but.
He couldn't hear the whistle at the time, but yeah, Bristol did get called for the foul. So Newton at the stripe.
I think it's the right call because Bristol was out of position. Yep. You know, you can't try to guard a guy with your back and not expect there to be a foul call as the offensive player hits the floor.
Newton in his 134th career game today, 120th start, splits the pair. Cook comes down with a rebound, and so it will be single digits here at the half. 36 combined free throws in a bit of a rock fight here in Hartford. Neither coach thrilled. Welcome to Big East basketball. A lot of emotion in this game as UConn and Georgetown meet for the 73rd time. We'll send you to Los Angeles for the Jeep halftime report. With the score, UConn 40, Georgetown 31 here in Hartford. Back here in Hartford, 9-point lead for the reigning national champion UConn Huskies as they lead the Georgetown Hoyas 40-31. Alex Faust, Donnie Marshall here with you courtside. Very different styles, obviously. And on one end, you've got a guy in Supreme Cook who is doing everything possible to get inside, and he has 16 of the Georgetown 31.
I was almost offended. I thought you meant our styles are different. I'm a little bit bigger than you. But, and remember, I'm bigger than you.
Yes, yes.
But no, you're absolutely right. It's a Georgetown team that is trying to piece things together, and the way they're doing it is by whoever's guarding Supreme Cook, we're going to make them work. And I thought midway through the first half, Ed Cooley and these Hoyas really figured out we're throwing the ball inside to Supreme Cook. He's got it going. Let's let him go ahead and shine a little bit. Now you need other pieces on the perimeter to kind of step in. Whether that's Epps, Styles, you need one more piece, if not two, to really continue to close this gap. But I think mucking it up is working for Georgetown.
Yeah, it certainly is, down by only 9. And then on the other end, Alex Caravan has carried the Huskies here. He's on pace for a career high in scores.
Yeah, look, we've said it enough. He came over here at halftime. I said enough. We're showing Ray Allen more than they show Taylor Swift at a Kansas City Chiefs game. And I know he's in the building, but Caravan is feeling it, and maybe that's why he's shooting the ball so well, because Ray Allen's here. But the spacing, the ability to understand who you're playing with, take a look. All eyes are on the ball. Tristan Newton has gained that respect You got to know what he's doing with the ball. That means Alex Caravan, you stay spaced, stay in your spot, 3-ball, corner pocket. It's an easy game when you give each other some room to move.
UConn as a team, 7 of 11 from 3, and 5 of those from Alex Caravan. Supreme Cook, perfect from the field, 16 points. He already has his 20th career double-double and 4th this season, 16 points, 10 rebounds to lead the Hoyas. All right, if you're, I'll give you them both here. If you're Georgetown, what do you need here to try to climb back into this game if you're Georgetown?
Look, you got to make your bunnies. Make the 0-footers, and you're right back in this game. There's no shot blockers on the floor. And actually, UConn now starts the half the way they ended it, small with Caravan in the middle. You have to attack the rim if you're Georgetown.
So it's Castle feeding the perimeter, and Cam Spencer. Try to enter it to Newton, and this gets deflected away. UConn kind of ending the half this way, and they start the second half with a similar looking possession.
The energy level is so important. Ed Cooley told us that, not just for Georgetown on the road, creating your own energy, but for UConn. In this building, it's not like being on campus. You have to really create your own energy the second half. Just a little too flat.
Heath puts it on the floor, goes up and scores.
I think you have to continue if you're Jay Heath, Jay Neps, even Masood. I think you have to challenge the feet of the UConn defenders.
Only 10 points in the paint for Georgetown. Castle, a little hesitation, guarded tightly by Cook. And a foul is called. Called away from the ball on Heath.
Yeah, Cam Spencer, really crafty, handsy type of defender, but now when you're playing catch-up, it's just tough, and that's when Jay Heath takes advantage. He made one. It's doable.
You add up just only a handful of those missed layups, and this is a very different ball game. Spencer. Back for Newton. Jab steps from Newton. Caravan up top. 4 on the timer. He'll attack the rim and roll it in.
An underrated driver of the basketball, Alex Caravan, and that's because he's so proficient from three-point range. You forget he can put that ball down with either hand.
21 for Caravan. His career high is 26. Baseline, it's Styles who gets fouled.
It's important for Georgetown to remember that you can shoot a jump shot anytime you want, but you're letting the defense off the hook. This right here, Styles using his size, taking advantage of a younger player. That's good basketball right there.
2 for Styles, and by the way, 36 combined free throws. The most in the first half of any Big East game since at least 2018. We're going back to see if we can find any further than that, but this is exactly what Ed Cooley wanted from his team to begin the day. It ain't going to be pretty.
But you know what is pretty? That W. After you get done with the game, you see a W.
It's down within 7. Shot a lot of threes last couple games. They've certainly shied away from that here today. Castle for Newton. A high action here. Castle lines one up and knocks it down.
Now, one of the things coming into the season that didn't really get talked about a lot, you know, his jump shot, and this UConn staff said early on he's a much better shooter than they thought. Much better shooter than they expected, and continues to get better.
Castle, the preseason freshman of the year in the Big East. Epps off the double. Has some room to breathe. Picton gets set. Epps takes his own shot, way off. Rebound Styles. Styles goes up. Can't get it to drop, but he'll head back to the line.
You almost have to know, if you're a guard for UConn, that Epps wants to shoot a jump shot. If you just stay in front, contest late, that's what you're going to get. But now your work's not done. Once that shot goes up, you need the rest of your guys boxing out, and that's the one thing I think Dan Hurley's going to be upset about is, look, we forced a guy to shoot a long jump shot uncontested. Now under the basket, we got to do our work. We hurt him in a timeout in the first half. Grab a ball, a rebound with 2 hands. We need to rebound.
And this Georgetown team has not done a good job getting to the line this year. Today, it's already 25 free throws. They averaged 13 attempted per game in conference play. Dead last in the Big East. They've already doubled that. A long way to go in this one. 8-point gain still. The other clutch thing that they've done is knock down their free throws. 77% from the line today. This is setting the offense. Not a lot of room to work with. Spencer found some room, and he bounces one in.
Oh, this may be an old building. You don't want to walk around these locker rooms with no shoes on, I will tell you that. But they have the softest rims that you probably ever shot on. I imagine you probably have pretty feet too. You just seem like one of those guys. Not a lot of road wear on them.
Newton, lost the handle. Good defense from Epps on the recovery. Georgetown nearly made a mess of it on the other end, and Cook, well, he has been so good at getting inside position. Battling for the loose ball there, he gets fouled. Third foul for Samson Johnson.
Unfortunate, too, for Samson Johnson. Just wrong place, wrong time, because it wasn't a great pass from Heath to Supreme Cook. There wasn't enough heat on it to get a layup, and now you're retreating, and unfortunate 3 fouls. So now, again, the complexion of the game changes. It's back to small ball for UConn. Georgetown has to be able to try to take advantage of that a little bit with Supreme Cook.
That's the thing, right? It may be playing into their game plan, but you got to hit some shots. Make some layups. Heath will stare down from Castle. Here's a 3 from Styles, and he knocks it down.
Really good patience there by Georgetown. Looking for the right guy. You extend out a little bit. Miscommunication down low for UConn defensively.
7 this half for Styles. Just the second 3 for Georgetown this afternoon. Trying to make himself available down the lane. It's floated back out to Castle. 6 to shoot. Castle, a fadeaway, short. Rebound went right to the waiting hands of Newton. And he throws it away. This will be deflection ruled, and it'll go back to UConn.
Yeah, that was Newton hoping that Diarra went to the baseline, didn't get there, but what a wonderful rivalry. Allen, Iverson, Gay, Ewing, Okafor, Hibbert. The names keep going and going. Big East basketball on Fox.
Wow, it's always cool to see Ray Allen back at a UConn game. Boy, does he get into it. He loves this place. Loves his alma mater. And he knows a thing or two about this rivalry as well. Georgetown, UConn. The series dates back to 1958, but when the Big East was formed in '79, Georgetown at the peak of their powers. UConn has been dominant since the mid-'90s. They won 7 Big East tournament titles. That is 1 shy of Georgetown's all-time mark of 8 they set for that miracle run in 2021. UConn coming off their 5th national title last year. And Ed Cooley just trying to rebuild the foundation at Georgetown.
Yeah, the brand is there. He knows that. That's a huge part of why he took the job, just the Georgetown brand. And you need time. Ed Cooley's not one of those guys that they say, oh, you got a year. He's like, no. I want to go in right now. I don't want to just relax, put my feet up for a year. I want to come in and try to lay some foundation of what I think could get us back to, Georgetown Hoya basketball, winning ways. I love that about it.
Newton with time running out of the shot clock. Bumps it off inside. Beautiful pass to Caravan.
Again, Georgetown and kudos to Ed Cooley. Not only do They look a little bit fractured at times, but they make their opponent look that way, as we saw there. But Caravan Newton paying it off.
Styles in and out. Caravan looking to bounce this off of Cook, and this will indeed go back to the Huskies.
Yeah, I mean, both these players doing everything they can for their respective teams today. That's really a tough call. I thought Caravan was inbounds and then threw it off of Cook as he had stepped out of bounds. I think that should be... I think the call was pointed the wrong direction, but they got it right in possession.
There's a nice pass from Caravan. And Castle to finish.
It's kind of what UConn does, though. Again, they just chip away at you. They're never in a hurry. They can do it with big plays, or they can do it with little plays.
Lead back to 12. Wow, what a tough take for Heath. Somehow manages to lay it in. UConn has not been able to break this game open. Caravan underneath. And he got caught from behind by Masood. Yes, still quiet today. This time he gets a layup to drop.
Again, you know, two hard right-handed drivers. UConn allowing them to get to those comfortable spots. And that's the difference. You know, great job by Georgetown understanding no shot blocker. We got to take advantage.
Got Heath up in the air. Newton way off from three. Rebound tracked down by Epps. And here's Heath into the front court. Heath trying to go to the left. And it's off of DR.
Georgetown. So good defensively, getting his hands in there without fouling. And the way he does it is one timing, but he's got such long arms and great vision. When that ball is exposed, his quickness with his hands to knock that away. And these are instincts. That's hard to teach.
He was frustrated with the possession, but man, that's a good effort. Enjoy that first. Yes, fadeaway jumper, pure.
What he wants to do. He wants to get you on your heels, watch you to sleep a little bit, and that narrow balance in his feet gets him up in the air quick.
Georgetown within 6. They refuse to go away. Gets it back in with his 3 fouls. Caravan off the mark. Rare miss. Loose ball out of bounds to Georgetown.
Had a good hustle this half to kind of turn things up for Georgetown. You know, they really come out with the energy. I think that Ed Cooley has been trying to instill in them for 40 minutes. Good start to this half for the Hoyas.
6-0 run for the Hoyas, the closest they've been this half. Twice Masood nearly lost the handle with defense from Caravan. Off the ball fake. Styles jet step. Driving left to the lane. Couldn't finish. Rebound. Cook juggled it. Knocked out of his hands. He still rebounds. Oh boy. 3 wide open for Masood. He had too much time and a foul underneath. This will go against Georgetown, I believe. It's Cook.
Yeah, Cook is working his tail off out there, right in the left. He just pulls Samson Johnson backwards. Can't do that, obviously. But sometimes you can get away with those little pulls, grabs. But anytime a guy hits the floor, it just brings too much attention to the play.
There's Castle. Back it out for DR. A little switch created some space for Spencer.
Tell you, you can't leave him. What makes him such a great shooter is when he catches it, he's already down in a position to be able to shoot. Never catches and stands up straight. So you leave him for a second, he's got one motion. It's just up instead of down and up.
I mentioned 11 and 12, so tough to deal with. They are the 2 scorers for UConn in double figures. Here's Cook off the shake and big. Nice finish with the left. Spencer thought about the heat check. Now Spencer running out of room. Castle down the lane, and it rolls off the rim. And we're getting a little taste. It may not be what it was in its heyday, but we're getting a little taste of the emotional intensity of a UConn-Georgetown game. The Huskies up by 7 in Hartford. Fox College Hoops is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Alex Faust, Donnie Marshall here with you in the XL Center in Hartford. 7-point lead for UConn. Georgetown's been tough, but UConn, when they get their shooters open, it's been pretty lights out.
Yeah, and one guy who's been in double figures 7 of his last 8 games is Cam Spencer. Take a look right side of your screen. Doing a wonderful job here of faking the little brush screen. Now watch how he catches it. He's down and then straight up. You know, a lot of younger players will catch that ball, stand up, and now the defense has a chance when you go back down and up to contest that. He catches it down, goes in one motion up, and the more you watch Cam Spencer, you realize he doesn't need a lot of time to get that shot off, but he gathers and builds up that strength in the legs to elevate early in the catch.
Been talking about Caravan, but you know what? Spencer with 4 triples today. Now, a couple of UConn hockey fans here, or as they refer to that team, the Ice Bus. Because for so many years, just like students had to be bussed down here for that. They had to bus the hockey team and the students down here for that too. They play their games here.
It's interesting. In the 5 games without Caravan, UConn is shooting 40% from 3-point range, and with Caravan, they're just above 32%. So they have, you know, sometimes there's a give and a take. You think they'd be better with the big guy inside to take up some of that slack, but they've done a nice job of being able to interchange and stay spaced out.
9-point lead after the free throws. Green Cook, 3 fouls now. Along with Caravan, kind of lost where he was on the floor. Scrambled for the loose ball, winds up with DR. DR into the front court, got swarmed at the paint. UConn gets it back. Spencer thought about it. Oh, look out! The seas parted for Stewart. And Jalen Stewart getting involved.
I love it. My favorite freshman in all of college basketball, Jalen Stewart, the Seattle kid, getting a chance.
Smith fires on the other end. Rebound, Cook, tie up. Possession arrow to Georgetown.
This is awesome that Coach Hurley allows his young guys to be involved in big games like this. And you know, Jalen Stewart, one of those highly touted of their 5 freshmen. Got some wonderful basketball DNA in his genetics. Played for Brandon Roy in high school.
Dad played pro. This is a pretty deep Connecticut team. Even without Donovan Clingan. Try to enter into Cook, and he's fouled. Tell you what, Supreme Cook, he has bought into the ethos of fighting and scrapping for every inch.
Well, Ed Cooley loves fighters. Look, you can be one of the best shooters that the college game has ever seen, but if you don't work hard, you're probably not going to play a lot for Ed Cooley. He loves his hard workers. He loves those blue-collar guys, and Supreme Cook fits right into that.
McGregor out of the inbound, and a 3 for Jay Heath. And again, Georgetown within single digits.
And it allows Georgetown to get back into their zone. You got to point and talk. This isn't an opportunity to rest in the zone. It changes up the look versus a good offensive team. That's what you want.
Diarra, a 3.
It's amazing. He hits opportune threes. He's not a great three-point shooter, but he hits them at the right times for UConn.
Coming coming off the bench the last 3 games, shooting 76% from the field. It's been a good spark plug for them. They needed to rest some guys. Neps going to work against DR. Flips it up and in. Wow.
How about that?
Huskies quick in transition. Newton blocked. And this will go back to UConn.
And Newton trying to play a little bully ball here, trying to force the issue with the whistles and not getting a call.
Georgetown continues to aggressively substitute, even though they only have a rotation that goes 8 men deep. Carabin, 23 to lead the Huskies. Foul away from the ball. And be on Heath.
I mean, a big part of what changes the complexion of your team when you don't have a Donovan Clingan is, you know, you're looking for someone else off the bench to give you some minutes. And only 5 points, bench points, the DR3 and then the dunk by Jalen Stewart for Coach Hurley and the Huskies. So let's dig into that a little bit.
Yeah, there's DR, a nice inbound play. And good patience.
Such a wonderful auxiliary player. You know, he gives it to you at both ends, plays hard, Diarra.
Down with 0 bench points in the first half. They now have 7 here in the last couple minutes. Epps, he got his man to backpedal and couldn't hit the layup, and that's been the theme of the day for Jaden Epps.
Thought he did everything but make the basket. It even hit Diarra with a little shoulder there, and maybe he was thinking about that. Waiting to hear that whistle if it's going to be an offensive or not. Talk about it. Need a bucket if you're the Hoyas right here.
He's attacking Carabin, reverse way off. Took the rebound, never touched the rim. Shot clock didn't reset, and they hit a 3 from the corner. It's Heath, and a quick timeout for Georgetown. Oh, Hoyas continue to scrap and claw in this game, and it's back to 8.
Jay Heath, opportunity knocks, 3-ball, corner pocket.
Ed Cooley, the Naismith National Coach of the Year just a couple of years ago. Terrific career at Providence, but been some big shoes at Georgetown over the years. And Ed Cooley, long line of tremendous coaches. John Thompson was the national championship in 1984. John Thompson the third, bringing the Hoyas to the Final Four. Patrick Ewing, it was a tough run for many years. They had that tremendous run of the Big East tournament. And now Ed Cooley tasked with rebuilding this proud program.
I had some conversations with Ed after he made that decision, and it was a very tough decision. You're born and raised in Providence. It's your dream job when you get it. It took them so far. They won so many games, and fan base loved him. And at some point, you got to make a decision for your career, for your family.
To give you an idea of the rebuild, Georgetown went 13-50 the last 2 seasons, including a 29-game losing streak in conference play. I mean, that is a really low place to try to build from. He hasn't playing tough, that's for sure. May not have the full complement of talent he wants yet. Oh boy, Spencer! And he's been perfect from the outside. 5 for 5 from deep. Cam Spencer, he and Alex Carabin have been tremendous from the perimeter. 10 combined threes for the two of them.
They can do it off the standstill or off the move. Cam Spencer, the UConn Huskies, feeling pretty good about themselves right now. Timeout.
Lead back to 11 for UConn after another 3, and Ed Cooley is fired up about that.
Let's get this thing to a 2-possession game, all right? That's okay. No threes. Like, the 3 balls are killing us. That's the game.
12 made threes for the Huskies. Their season high, Donnie, is 13.
Yeah, 67% from behind the arc, and there have only been a few contested. Most of them have been late contests, too late. That one, just a better offense, beats good defense. This one again, Cam Spencer's taking some tough ones under duress. There have been a lot of threes that have been wide open, and look, you have to trust that if you run a guy off of the three-point line, if you're Georgetown, that you have help behind you. And sometimes that's easier said than done. But out of a timeout like that, you got to understand, I have to be ready to help my teammate if he runs a guy off that three-point line.
Now here's Epps, wild look, hook shot.
I mean, they are 8 for 21 on layups.
Plus 2 scores in that second.
You just can't stay in the game when you're 8 of 21 on 0-footers and you're giving up three-pointers at the other end. It's just, like Ed's showing, it's just getting frustrating.
Well, it's not as if the size differential played as much of a factor here today. We know Georgetown's a smaller team to begin with. Samson Johnson's been out of most of the game for foul trouble. They just haven't hit their layups.
Yeah, the best way to put it is UConn defensively, they have bodies on guys going to the basket, and they're bodying the offensive player without fouling. And that's how you want to defend. It really is textbook. You're not just going to go out there and miss, not the scores you have in Epps and Styles.
Right.
And miss that many layups. Well, 8 for 21.
Then when you get Klingon back, I mean, that adds to it for UConn.
Now you better have a floater or a pull-up from about 12 feet if you're playing against them.
12-point lead for the Huskies. Largest lead today is 13. Tough day for Epps. 4 for 15 from the field. Cook, been their go-to guy inside. That shot was altered, and this will go back to the Huskies.
That's tough. I think Styles might have crowded that weak side. When Supreme Cook has the ball, guys need to be lifted and spaced out in the corner, and you just know they have 4 assists today. He's not going to get the ball to pass it. He's going to score, especially with a mismatch. You got to get out of his way.
Newton just trying to lull Cook to sleep. Goes behind the back against Heath. Newton, no. Rebound popped out to the waiting hands of Massoud. Come the Hoyas in transition. Heath pass inside. Nicely corralled by Cook, who gets hit. And a little jawing after the whistle between he and Newton. Like I said, we're getting a little taste of the old school Georgetown-UConn rivalry today. Not a full bite, just a little taste.
There are some teams that you play that you'll help a guy up after you follow him. These two teams are not either one of those. And there's Supreme Cook running the floor. Really good pass and good catch from Heath to Cook. There's a foul, and you pull a guy down. I'm with Supreme Cook. You took a little offense to that. Hold the guy up. But you no love lost between these two programs.
Double technical's been issued. I didn't think you need that.
I mean, you get a lot. Look, you don't have to do a lot to get a tech today. You don't.
So Cook, the foul line, the common portion of the foul there. And hits the other one.
The chatter that you saw after the play, that was a part of the scouting report back when I played. So when you get up, you make sure you let him know. And the refs just knew they let you play. Come on, guys, let's just play. Now it's a little bit of over-policing for my taste in college basketball.
Georgetown comes up empty at the line. Scramble for the loose ball. In and out of the hands of the Hoyas and the Huskies. Back to UConn, but this gets deflected away. Nice catch, Don.
I finally got a touch. Ray Allen's in the building, and I finally got a touch. Finally got a touch. Look at that.
Got to look alive down there.
Yeah, but look, I grabbed it though. I wanted it. I wanted it more.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Well, that's why you said you're the bigger guy, so I'm just going to hide behind you and I'll be fine.
And I had to grab it and point at Ray, and he gives me the Mutombo. Like I finally got a touch with him in the building. Finally. Oh.
Oh, well, so after all that, Georgetown ball once again. UConn, I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, just has not been able to pull away in this game.
Look, I think what Ed Cooley told us in the locker room before the game was, I just want my guys to compete. I think they're doing that, but now that the next step is discipline, making those bunnies, extra passes, no shoves in the back when you feel like you've got a little momentum. That's just emotion right there. I wouldn't even say that's a lack of discipline. That's just emotion from your big.
That's his fifth, too, after the technical.
That's tough.
So Cook is fouled out.
I had this conversation with a couple members of the staff, Brian Blaney, Ivan Thomas, and they said, we just need Supreme to understand you're getting starter minutes, meaning you got to play like a starter. No silly fouls. We need you to stay on the floor, and that's a situation where you're a guy who is not used to being in the limelight like Supreme Cook has been this season. Got to understand how important you are to your team on the floor and obviously not on the bench.
Well, that's the difference between a team that might be above 500 at this rate instead of 8-8. They've had some close games this year, and Georgetown's actually 5-3 in games decided by 7 points or less. But they had a tight loss early to Holy Cross. They blew an 11-point lead in that game. They had late possessions they mismanaged. Against TCU, they had the buzzer-beating loss at home. They led Seton Hall with under 4 minutes to go earlier in the week. Epps leans in and lays it in. Lead down to 10. The Huskies now looking for the knockout punch. Not bad. And fighting there with Heath. Heath off the switch, guarding Spencer. Spencer trying to split his way to the lane, beating Castle from outside. Too strong on the three. Rebound, tap back out by Epps to Heath. Here come the Hoyas in transition. A sued foul.
I do like the way that Georgetown is competing. You know, all due respect to the teams we've seen the last few seasons, they'd get it going and they'd back up a little bit. Again, the one thing you're going to get from an Ed Cooley coach team, and credit to him and his entire staff, is play hard. You just don't realize how many great things come from playing hard. You may not make every shot. You might have a couple turnovers, but if you play hard, it sets a precedent. It starts a culture, a new culture, if you will.
31 being Mr. Junior.
What a game for Supreme Cook. 18, 13, and really not a walking double-double. That's only his fourth double-double this season. It shocked me when I looked at the numbers. It just seems like a guy that just kind of carries himself, that I'm getting every rebound and I'll give you 5-6 buckets every game.
Spencer now has 4 fouls for UConn. And whistle on the other end of the floor here as Newton tried to flip that ball to the backboard.
11 Coach Hurley's up, screaming, yelling, and he's continuing to let the refs know.
Heath with his 4th personal just now.
The thing about Dan Hurley is, you know, I heard once the toothpaste comes out of the tube, it's very difficult to put it back in, Alex. And Hurley is one of those guys, once you get him going, the refs, you know, they got a little back and forth. You got to love that about him, the fire, the players. There's his dad, mom and dad. had a chance to talk to them before the game. They're eating it all up. They're loving it. This is what college basketball is all about, Alex.
Well, you were telling everybody in the building about your team that went to #1 in the nation, first ever UConn team.
That's right. The first, because I know you're not going to say it right. The first team ever UConn history.
Hey, Burley is the only coach not named Jim Calhoun to put the Huskies in the top 5.
That's it.
In the hands of Styles. And this goes back to Georgetown. The lead is only 9 for the Huskies.
I will say this, though. Someone made the point. When all the #1, when all the top 4 of the 5 teams lost this week, how many days was UConn #1 last year? 0. So, but I will say it's important because I'm still talking about 60 years later.
Scramble for the ball here, and it's picked up by Stewart. There's the freshman.
The length, great job by Jalen Stewart to go up and get that without fouling.
UConn's only losses this year, #5 Kansas in a true road game at Seton Hall early in league play. Big block underneath, but a foul was committed first by Bristol. Let's take a look back down memory lane. The last time UConn was #1 in the nation, February of 2009. Gas was $2.75 per gallon. We had the first iPod the other day when we were showing the history books in St. John's.
It's interesting, and since then, 3 national titles.
Yeah,
so it tells you how much coaches put on being #1. It's more for us, more for the fans. But I have to admit, my coach used to say when we weren't picked #1, they would say, okay, they don't believe in you. They don't. He would use it in practice, and we'd be like, come on. But then when you were #1, he would tell us, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm like, wait, which one is it here?
Well, this team, if they continue to keep their act together, they'll have a very good chance of winning as national champion.
Health, obviously, is just the #1 thing you worry about. And now Donovan McClingan already a couple times this season dealing with the foot.
Yes. Somehow they got the rim. A rebound for the Hoyas. He takes it inside, and he gets fouled. And all of a sudden, what was kind of a sleepy crowd, they're starting to get frustrated with all these whistles.
I thought it was a good no call at the top of the 3. I thought Epps was really forcing the issue there, leaning in.
There have been 53 combined free throws in this game. All ball.
And I think what happens is at times that's a tough thing when you don't see the body that goes into it. And as a defender, when you go up, you're taught, use that body. They're looking at your hands. They're looking at the ball, the officials. So try to use your body. But I thought that was a pretty...
Heath splits the pair. 13 points for Heath. 6 shy of 1,400 for his collegiate career. He's in the double digits for the 3rd time in the last 4, trying to will Georgetown back into this game as we cross inside of 4 minutes to play. Newton kicks it out. Caravan got it from 3. Caravan with 26 to tie a career high. Entry pass, Fielder. It's grabbed by Newton. Whistles galore here, but is UConn ready to put the finishing touches on this one? The Huskies have extended it back to their largest margin, a 13-point lead over the Hoyas. Alex Caravan leading the way for the Huskies with 26 points.
Yeah, he's in a space that he feels confident. Now his teammates are finding him, in particular Tristan Newton. There's a lot of 1-2 punches on this UConn team, and they're hard to to scout. They're hard to defend. You take 1 or 2 away, there's another 2 or 3 that can hurt you. And it all starts with Newton, though, with 8 assists, 7 rebounds, 7 points, and that's what allows Caravan and Cam Spencer to knock down some shots.
If you're just joining us, the leading scorer for Georgetown today, Supreme Cook, with 18, is fouled out of the game. Today's game summary sponsored by Progressive. Get slam dunk savings today. 74-61 UConn, trying to win their 5th straight. All those wins have been without their top shot blocker, 7'2" center Donovan Clingan. The Huskies looking to get to 15-2 and reclaim a share of first place in the Big East. Fielder, freshman at the line. That's the first down.
I got to take a second here and just tell my partner today, happy birthday, Alex Faust, 35 years old. Happy birthday, man.
Appreciate you.
And I know this cupcake I got you
I haven't touched it.
I need you to eat this right now.
I didn't want to like eat it and fall asleep with the sugar high because this game is taking a little while with the fouls. But I'm not going to be Bill Walton and just like eat the candle off the top of it.
I should have bought.
Thank you, my friend.
I should have bought a bunch of these for this crowd today.
You should have. They're looking at it like, wait, why don't we get one?
Happy birthday, Mark. Glad I could spend it with you.
Same. Now it's been a fun one. A lot of whistles in this game, a lot of physical play. And Heath has fouled out now.
I think as you get deeper into conference play, any power conference, any conference really, it gets harder to officiate. The expectation of allowing us to be more physical, or the expectation of, hey, they hand check a lot, and teams know, the good teams know how to control the tempo and the style of game with their aggression. And it's harder for officials the deeper you get into the season.
I think in a day like today, too, for UConn, this is not a clean game by any means for both teams. But these are the kind of games that you have to gut out and win. And Dan Hurley was talking about it, even the Xavier game. Yeah, they were able to grind out the win even when they weren't playing their best.
Yeah, those are the games that championship teams need. They really do.
Oh, they thought, the crowd did, that was all ball with Castle on the block. Instead, Epps will shoot free throws.
Well, clearly our refs have no planes to catch. So wherever they're going, they must have been flights canceled. But again, the angle is a little tough there. It might have been on the elbow by Castle, but because he's such a physical presence, his reputation will help him if he continues to play that way. And that's how Coach Hurley wants him to play. Aggressive, smart, use your strength.
Don't these referees know they're not flying out of Brainerd, they're going out of Bradley
Exactly.
Airport? 60 free throws in this game. These are the type of games that Georgetown, they know they're going to have to play some ugly ones just as they continue to build and round into form the way Ed Cooley wants them to play. This is kind of what they've gotten from a lot of their games this year. There's just a bit of a talent deficit right now. UConn is trying to close this one out. 3:18 to go. Some press up court from the Hoyas. The Huskies able to break it. Diarra attacking downhill. He's going to float it back out and let the clock breathe.
And a really nice closeout by Georgetown there. But even better, not forcing the issue by Diarra and using some of that clock, like you said.
Taking it side of 10 on the time. Newton, as he fades away from 3, comes up short, rebound Stewart.
Boy, the length and the athletic ability of Jalen Stewart. That's like 2 or 3 we've seen him go up and grab without fouling.
He's going to earn some more minutes the way he's come off the bench. Very limited playing time. Made an impact. Diarra down the lane. And it's saved by the Huskies off the steal.
Again, those are those 50-50 balls. The championship teams win those most of the time. And Ed Cooley will he will find those guys. This Georgetown team will start to begin to win those fights as well, those little battles.
Attacking right in the lane, bodied up, lost the handle. 2 on the shot clock as the Huskies get it back. So they're going to give this to the Hoyas. Now the Huskies, their title defense began with a 7-game winning streak to start the season. Big win over Texas early on. Sue pulls down an offensive rebound here, and it goes out of play. They have 5 quad 1 wins so far this year, 3-1 against top 15 teams. It's hard to go back-to-back. No team has done it since Billy Donovan's Florida Gators. But they've picked up some key wins. Indiana, Texas, UNC, Gonzaga. They've outscored their opponents by 29 points per game. A lot of that coming early. 8-0 at home. Their only loss in Big East play, December 20th against Seton Hall.
Only undefeated team in the Big East. And I love that they're, I love that they're not shying away from playing teams early in the season. You know, they played some teams early that you wouldn't see normally until you get to the NCAA tournament.
That's 4 games, Donnie, against top 15 ranked teams. That's a program record.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it, talking about how hard it is to win on the road. Well, Seton Hall is not, they're one of those teams that will go in and beat someone anywhere. Butler took care of home, but still they dropped one. They're just, you can't just rely on your fan base and just being at home in this conference. You got to play every single minute of every conference game.
The Huskies will next have Creighton. Spencer, why not? He's short. He'll get his own miss. Follow it up and lay it in. Now the 20. 19 on Wednesday against Xavier. As we approach the final minute. Pass off the backside of Spencer. With 45 to go, and UConn on its way to a 5th straight win. Now this week in the Big East, every ranked team lost to an unranked opponent except for UConn.
And look, they've shown it again. Undefeated at home, ready to go 9-0, and they've done it with Klingon, without Klingon.
They've reached 80 points for the 12th time this year. And the Huskies continue their title defense by grinding one out against an arch rival here at home. (80-67) the final.
Well, fans can relish in this now because Ed Cooley knows he's going to put a team together at Georgetown. But I tell you what, UConn continues to get better no matter who's on the floor. Dan Hurley and his staff have to be proud of his guys winning games, ugly, pretty, no matter what.
I don't know if Cooley's going to give you a line like, better get ready, it's coming, like Dan Hurley.
Oh, he will.
UConn gets the victory, 80-67 the final. Coming up at 4 o'clock here on Fox. We'll get you set for the Cowboys and the Packers on Wild Card Weekend in the NFL. For Donnie Marshall and our entire Fox crew, this is Alex Faust saying so long from the Constitution States.